Okay. So yesterday we started with the two-way data binding and what exactly the two-way data binding is and how do we work with the two-way data binding. We have seen like with the different examples. Okay, let it be. I'll just Manoj, I'll inform to the management team. Okay, they might disable it. Okay, nothing is there like in my hand. Seven, please turn off the video. Right? Why you guys are doing like some crazy? Just give me a minute, guys, please.
Speaking to someone else.
Okay, right. Okay, we started with the guys. If that is a case, like I don't want to take the session in. You're not the kids, right? Be like a professional. Okay. So we started with two-way data binding and how to work with the two-way data binding. I have explained in the last session. Two-way data binding is nothing but binding the data from UI to the TS and TS to the UI. I don't have an option to disable the camera, but it was already done. Maybe I guess. If anyone face like that issue, just please do let. Okay. But if I see like anyone with video, I'll remove from this group so that they won't be joined at all. Okay. I'll take a disciplinary action. It should be fun for some time, not for all the time, right? Okay. Now coming to the two-way data binding, as I told you, it is all about binding the data from HTML to the component and a component to the HTML. That means whenever if you can do, or whenever if you can do a modification in one place, and that is going to be updated in another place. So that is how it is going to be. Understand? That is how it is going to be. To do this particular one, we use what? An ng model. And ng model is mainly used. Okay, ng model is mainly used for what purpose? It is used to verify, to work with two-way data binding. That means ng model is mainly used to do what? Two-way data binding only. Whenever if you want to do the two-way data binding, there you can go with the ng model. Now I'm going to show you another example so that like you will be understanding it in a better way, how we can make use of it. So let me try to open that example that we have discussed yesterday. I'll go to my D drive, and there we are having full stack Angular. There we have that Angular example. Let me open that Angular example and go with the command prompt. And here I can use a code space dot so that it will open the command prompt for me. And this is how it is going. And I asked you to do a simple task. If you can remember, I asked you to do a simple task. What is the task? What is the task I asked you? Did you remember? Very good. That means the student information. So that what I want to do, I'll create a component now. How do I create the component? I'll go to my components folder, right click on here, and then open it in the integrated terminal. And after that, I'm going to use a command prompt here and clear the screen. And here I'll be using ng-c for the component. I'll be writing a component name as going to be student result, that what I can say. Student result, that what I can say. And at the same time, hyphen skip hyphen test, that what I am using. That's it. So when I'm giving this, then automatically a component would be created with the name student result, where I'm having the HTML and the TypeScript. So generally what I want to do is I'm going to create a simple variables here. So how do I create the variables? Simply I'll go with public. I am using student ID. You can see I use what? Student ID, which is of type number. And I'm initializing, let's say 101. And at the same time, student name is available, and the type is going to be the string, where I can give the name as going to be Shrikant, I can say. And at the same time, public student subject one, or else let's say subject one, that what I am using, which is of type number, is equal to, let's say 67. And at the same time, I have subject 2 as well, and then subject 3 as well. 67 and 78, and at the same time 89, like that I can give. Okay, so this is what I have given. And now I wanted to calculate the total. So how can I calculate the total? Public marks is equal to, now you can see I have the subject 1, and then subject 2, and then we have subject 3. At the same time, I wanted to calculate. Now you can see here I'm not giving the number type. If you can observe that, am I giving the number here? Tell me. I'm not specifying it as going to be the number based on these three. It is automatically of type number that we are having here. Understand? And after this, public result is equal to, or else let's say average is equal to, and this is also I'll be giving the number, and here what I can do, I'll be writing marks divided by 3 that what I can do. At the same time, public, let's say I have the result which is of type string I can say. And here what I can do is I'll be writing a simple function here. Okay, maybe what I can do is a public the result that what I can give. Okay, result is the one that what I am using, which is of type string. Now what I can do, I'll be writing public calculate result and which is of type string where it is going to accept a number. Now what I can do, I'm going to pass an average here. I'm going to pass an average here and the average is of type number I can say, and I'll write a condition that if my average is going to be, let's say, greater than 35, then I'll be returning pass. Else I'll be returning fail that what I can do. Else I'll be using something like fail that what I can do. Now I wanted to execute this function. So how we can do that one? Calculate a result that what I can give. And here this dot average that what I am supplying. This is only the assignment I have given. Just to create the variable. Create the variable and for initially hard code the value. Day one I have given you the result. Day one I have given you an assignment. Just you can take that and display it in the UI. How many of you have done this one? Tell me. How many of you have done like this? Tell me. How many of you guys have done like this? Tell me. Very good, very good. Nice. Nice. Right. Now you can see this is what the first assignment I have given where you can take all. Sir, why you have given the public? If you don't want to give, remove it. That's it. Why I have given directly here means because I think that these are required globally so that I can give. But I hope you people might know in TypeScript everything if you are not giving, then that is public only. Now what I just want to do, let me have a simple div tag that what I can give. Understand? And I'm going to apply a container. Or else let's say container fluid, and I'll be displaying a simple h1 tag student information that what I can give, and I'll be giving a class that is going to be text hyphen center, and I'm using a HR tag here, and then let me display the data. So that what I can do, the first thing is going to be I'll take a definition list. And here, otherwise, what you can do is you can take a table tag as well. Table, and table will contain a class that is going to be the table, and table will contain something like a table hover. And it comes with the th. Okay, tr. First th is going to be what we are having here. Just you can observe that if you wanted to split this design, where you can give like this, guys. Okay, where you can give like this. That means what you can do, which one you wanted to open in the next tab, just open that. And then what you can do is just use this button, split the editor, so that automatically it will get splitted. Now here, whatever the items we declared here, we can use them. Now the first one is going to be t-head. I'll be using student ID. And then I'm using table data here. Now student ID, where it is available? It is available in this variable. So that how can we get it and display? You can just simply giving it over there. This is the first row. And here I'm going to use table hyphen bordered so that a border is also going to be applied. Now the next TR, this is one TR. Like that, I can go with another TR here. Let's say student name I can give, and where it is available. It is available under the student name. You can see that we have the student name here, student name here. And the next one is going to be, let's have another TR. The third one is going to be, I wanted to get like, the total marks. I don't want to see like, individual marks here. Let me get the total mark. So the total marks, you can find it here. So that what I can do, I'll be giving marks over there. And the next one is going to be, I wanted to find out an average so that I can have a TR where I can have TH and then average marks are, and here I'll be writing another TD where I can have an average so that you can see average would be stored here so that I can use it and then displaying it over there. And finally, we wanted to give a final result so that I can have TH result I can say, and then I'll be using TD and where I can go with something like a result that what I can give. Okay, a result that what I can give. That's it. Mohan, like you're asking a silly question that why public? See, that is like just I'm telling you, I habituated to use something like that. It is not mandatory to give the public here because I hope in TypeScript you already know public is the default access modifier. Public is the default access modifier. I'm a .NET developer basically, and most of the time I create the properties with the help of public at the time of doing the development. So that because of that habituation, I created the public. Even if you are not giving public also, nothing will happen. By default, that is public only. Okay. But there are like few scenarios where you have to mention with the help of public that we will be understanding a bit later. Understand? Thank you. So now here you can see it is ready. Now I wanted to execute this one. So what are the steps to execute a component once if it is ready? What are the steps we have to do? What are the steps we have to do? Tell me. Once the component is ready, we have to register under the module. Very good. Now what I want to do, I have to register under the module so that I can say student result component. Because it was already registered. How it was happened? Because tell me. Because we created it with the help of what? Angular CLI. If you can generate anything with the help of Angular CLI, the basic steps are going to be performed automatically. That means you need not to perform any kind of operations by your own. The very basic steps are going to be done automatically so that you need not to do anything. That is the first one. Okay, very good. And what would be the next step? I wanted to execute this as my startup. So how we can do that? Let me give it over here. Let me give it over here. Student result component I can say. I used what? Student result component that what I can give. Understand? And the next step is what? What is the next step here? Once if it is done, what is the next step? Go with the index.html. Very good. And there you can give, you can remove that existing one and give that particular one. App hyphen. Okay, app hyphen student hyphen result I can say. Maybe I missed it. Just give me a minute. App hyphen student hyphen result. Now you can save it. That's it. So there are the basic steps that we have to perform. Now, once if everything is ready, there you can run. Now I am using NGS hyphen O. If I am using, then it will be opened it in the default browser. It might take a minute. Okay. Now you can see here I'm able to see that information, student ID, name, total marks, average marks, and also we have seen a result also over here. Fine, we are able to display this data. That's good. Maybe what I can do, I'll remove this border also and save it. And at the same time, let's have this one is not required. Perfect. And I'll give like, the normal border where I have like very less information. So that is the problem. Okay. We have like, the normal data. Now you can see we are able to get like, the result as going to be pass or fail. Fine. Perfectly. But yesterday, this is the day one assignment I have given. But yesterday I have given an assignment which is something different. What assignment I have given? I asked you to take like, 3 subject marks from the user. And when user click on get total, then I asked you to get the result, right? That is what I asked you. So have you implemented that? If yes, how you have implemented? That is my question. By using what? Altogether, Prakash. Altogether. Now you can see in this example what binding I have used. Interpolation binding. That is one-way data binding. But now what I want to do, I am going to take a div. Let's have a div. Okay. And which is having a class that is the row. Okay. Which is having a row here. And at the same time, I'll take another div. And I'll keep this table inside that. And these are all the classes that what I'm applying in Bootstrap. Class to call. Maybe I can say 6. And at the same time, I'll take another div here. Let's have another div. And the remaining 6 columns I can give it here. Now here we will be having a simple form where you can take the input. So that what I can do, I'll be taking a simple input here by having another table as well. Let's have the table. And here we have the TR and where we have the TD. And I am going to ask the user enter student ID. Now I am going to have another one input type as going to be text. Now here the requirement is going to be whenever user has entered, let's say the student ID here and then click on submit, or else like whenever user has modified here, I wanted to share that information to them. That is what my requirement. So how we can do that one? Did you remember two-way data binding? Did you remember it or not? Tell me how we can do the two-way data binding, guys. How we can do the two-way data binding? By using what? Very good. ng model. We use what? ng model, that's what I can say. Okay, we use what? ng model. Now how we can do that one? Simply let me give, I'll say ng model is equal to. Now student ID is available here so that I can copy and then giving it over there. That's it. This is the first one. And after that, let me create another one here. Enter student name, I can say. Enter student name. And here also, I'll be giving student name. And after that, the third one is going to be, let's say, enter subject one. And here also, I'll be writing subject one. Now here I can give small s. And the next one is going to be, we have subject 2 marks. And here also I'll be writing subject 2. And then we have the third one, that is going to be enter subject 3, that what I can say. And here also I'll be giving subject 3. Now save this application. Now you can see, that means Rajesh, what you are not understanding, please let me know. Have you attended yesterday's session? Have you attended yesterday's session? Rajesh. Rajesh, have you attended yesterday's session? Yesterday, what we discussed? Then for that, I can't do anything, man. If you are not attending the session or skipping the session, I can't do anything, right? Because we have 500 members. If everyone is asking like, I'm not understanding yesterday because I'm 50 minutes late, I'm not attending yesterday, that is not possible. If you can attend regularly, on time, if you can be available, then it will be easy. Now what I am doing, I'm explaining for one more time. See, first what I have done, I created a component here. And this is an example. That is where I have given you as an assignment to complete. The people who have completed, you can compare the code whether it is fine or not by checking this example. The people who are not yet done, you may take this as an example and create a new one. Now, what is a data binding here? A data binding is a mechanism. Prasad, why you are not trying that one? You can try and then you can ask me the question. What happened? If you can give the private, what happened? It will give an error. Read that error, right? I'm telling you like every time, don't depend on me or somebody else. This is your career. First you try and then you can ask any question. If you are not at all understand, then okay, I'm ready. Just now somebody asked me, sir, yesterday I joined 15 minutes late, or I'm not following, so that I can explain you one more time. But again, you are asking a simple question. What happen if I am giving it as private? Nothing will happen. Give private. What happen? It will give an error. Read that error. Then you come to know, okay, this is the problem. That means that you can sort it out. Why include that question here? That is the question. Okay, don't do that. Right. Now here you can see, generally the concept that what we are learning here is going to be the data binding. And we started yesterday. The concept is going to be the data binding. Now what a data binding will do? Data binding will get the data from the component. Understand? Just let's say this is the component and this is the HTML. Okay. And this is what we have the component. And here this is the template, or else I can say HTML. Now component is having some data. Let's say student ID 101 and student name. Okay, is going to be, let's say, I'll be writing Srikanth, and at the same time, maybe let's say is pass. I'll be writing some true or false value. This is what my requirement. Now what I want to do, if I'm having something in the component TS file, will it be possible to display that to the user directly without using the HTML? Tell me. Without using the HTML, is it possible to display the data? Obviously no, because end of the day, HTML is only the page which will be rendered on the browser, so that whatever the data we prepared on the component file, that needs to be rendered on the HTML. That is how it is very important. Now, how I am able to render that? So for that reason, to transfer the data from component file to the HTML, we are using a mechanism. That mechanism, what we call it as a data binding. This point is clear? Everyone tell me. This point is clear or not? Tell me. Okay. So that means sharing the data from component to the template or template to the component. That concept, what we call it as a data binding. And in this data binding, we have different techniques are available. So the first technique is going to be getting the data from the component and display or bind with the help of HTML. So how we can do that one? To do that one, we use the interpolation syntax, or else we go with the property binding. Understood? We use the interpolation syntax, or else we can go with the property binding. When do we use that interpolation? If you wanted to give, or if you wanted to display a direct data, if you wanted to display a direct data, there you can use that interpolation. That means, let's say I have a student ID here, right? You can see I have a student ID and student name. These are straightforward values. I can display that in my, let's say, div tag, or else let's say I use a paragraph in order to display. So that how I can do that? Student ID, and I'm using the interpolation syntax, and whatever the variable we are having, you just have to give that variable student, okay, ID, that what I can give. Did you understand what I'm doing here? This step is clear or not? Tell me guys, this step is clear? This syntax, what we call it as a interpolation. Interpolation. Now what we are having, like, the second step is the property binding. When do we use that property binding? Whenever, if you people wanted to give a dynamic value for the property of the HTML. That means here you can see I'll be taking an input type. Let's say I'm using input type equal to, let's say I have the text. Now I wanted to verify based upon this particular true and false. So that how I can do? I am using checked here is equal to, I'll be using a property name. What is my property? IsPass is the property. IsPass is the property. And this one is what we call it as attribute binding, or else what I can do? Maybe you can call it as property binding also. Anything is fine, guys. A simple change, anyhow, that we have discussed. This is clear now? This is clear now? Tell me. Rajesh, tell me. This is clear or not? Okay, very good. And this binding, what we call it as one way. One way means what? One direction only. That means getting the data from component to the HTML. At the same way, component is having some data. That means HTML is having some data. I wanted to share the data to here. Okay, that means that is also one way. Again, that is also one way only. At that moment, we use what? Event binding. Yesterday, we discussed about event binding, and we will be discussing more about that event binding very soon. But here also, do remember, this is also what? One way. This is also one way data binding only. Now, our requirement is, whenever if I modify it in the HTML, I want to do the modification on the component. Whenever the component is modified, I want to do modified in the HTML. That is what we call it as two-way data binding. Understood? That is what we call it as two-way data binding. Now, what is two-way data binding? Whenever the HTML is modified, then component will get modified. Whenever the component is modified, then HTML will get modified. That is what we call it as a two-way data binding. And we can do that with the help of what? With the help of what? ng model. With the help of ng model. Understood? With the help of ng model. That means what happened? Suppose let's say you're getting student ID to here and user may enter some student ID. Then it needs to be updated here. Suppose I have some student ID here that has to be displayed. That is what that ng model. Now in this example, coming to that example, now you can see I have some data here and I am going to display the data initially by using this table, right? See that. What binding I'm using here? What binding I'm using here? Tell me everyone. Interpolation syntax. I used what? One-way data binding. That is that interpolation. But here you can see I used what? Second one. That is the two-way data binding. Because of that reason I'm using ng model. Now as I'm using the two-way data binding, now you can see I'm having 67, 78 and 89 that we are having. Now what I can do? I'm going to modify this value. Let's say I'll be giving, this is 101 result, right? I'll be giving 102 and the name is going to be, maybe you can use some name and you can give the mark 78 and then 98 and then let's say we can go with 65 if I'll be using. Okay, now you can see 65 that what I have used. Now what happened? See that it is modifying. Depends on requirement. Now you can see it is modified, but is it getting updated on here? No, it is not done. It is not done. Why it is not done? Because tell me, we are not modifying that result. Result is not being calculated based upon that action. That means the values are modified, but you see what happened? The total value is not at all modified. That is the reason here you can see 234, 78 and pass is available. Now what I can do here is I'm going to share this data to the user. I'm going to share this data to the user by clicking on a button. So how we can do that one? Let's have a button. Let's have a button. Calculate the result. And when it is going to be, whenever user click on it, I don't want to go with on click here. Rather, I can use click on here, calculate result. I can say calculate the result I can use. Now what I want to do here, you can see in place, oh, I'm sorry. Already I have the calculate result. Maybe calculation I can say. Now what I want to do, I'll copy this and then giving it over here. I'm writing what? Calculation, and here what I can do, all these things, whatever I have done, I'm going to do within here. That's it. That means here what I can do, this dot marks is equal to, you can get it. So how we can do that? This dot, tell me, subject 1 plus this dot subject 2 plus this dot subject 3 I can say. At the same time, the next one is going to be average. So I can define this average here so that this dot average is equal to, we have the marks divided by 3. And at the same time, the same time, I just need to have the result. So how we can do that result? Simply this dot, let's have the result is equal to, we have the calculate result by passing the average that we are having. Now what I am doing here, you can see that just you can give 0 initially, and here also give 0, and here also you can empty value. That's it, nothing. Now you can see what happened. I'm writing a simple function, and the name of the function is going to be the calculation. Now in the calculation, what I have done? I'm performing all the calculation. Now you can see, let me come back here. Now initially it is giving me 0. Okay, initially it is giving me 0. But you can see I'm giving Shrikant, and I have the different marks here. When I click on calculate result, I'm able to see the result here. See that? And suppose let's say I'll be giving 102, and the name is going to be, maybe you can give some name over there, and subject is 87, and then 98, and then 90. Now you can see I'm able to see the result also here. And I can give, let's say 103, and the name is going to be some name, and I can give the marks as going to be, let's say 21, 32, and 22. And when I click on here, there you can see I'm able to get that average as well, 21, 32 or something. One second. Okay. Okay. Okay, pass simply what I did. Greater than 35. 1 second, please. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, it is concatenating generally. That means we have to do a typecasting here. Maybe let's say we can give that, but it is too much. It is taking as going to be this thing. The problem here is going to be we are applying for the HTML. This start marks is equal to, let's say, no, there is no difference here if you can follow this. But the thing is why it is getting concatenated, that is the whole idea that we have to understand. Let me come back here. And this calculation is done properly, 67, 78. 234. This first calculation is done perfectly. You can see I have the 67 plus 78 plus 89, 234. And when I say about divided by 3, that is 78. And it is showing me. Hello? Hey, wait. I will show you what I have given. Okay. I'm giving here it as going to be like this. Now you can see when user click on calculate, I'm able to do this one. This is perfectly fine. This is perfectly fine. But like, the time when user has given some other value, that is 69, and right click and go to that inspect and see how do we do the debugging here. How do we do the debugging? You can see there. Go to the sources. Okay. Just you can see. I'm explaining one more time. Now, right now we face an issue, right? I'll open with Google Chrome where everyone is familiar with that. I'll open with Google Chrome. This is how the Google Chrome. When user calculate result and it is working fine. But I have an issue when user has changed this to 68 and then click on calculate result. Now you can see we have what 68, 78, 89. That is what we are getting. Generally, like what happened here, everyone knows that this is going to be a concatenation. Understand? This is going to be a concatenation. That means it is not allows us to do what? A typecasting. I mean, by default, it is taking a string type data. That is the reason where it is going to be. But how we come to know that? How we come to know that? So to do that one, what I can do is just I'm showing you like, the debugging. How we can do that? Just let me show you the debugging concept. You can see right click and go to that inspect. And here you can see we have the sources is available. Generally, this is what we call it as a developer window. Okay. This is a developer window. And here in this developer window, if you can go to the sources and here you can give control P. Okay. You can see give the control P and then I can give you. Okay. And then I can give you what? Student result component dot ts I can say. Okay. Now keep a breakpoint here. See this. Keep a breakpoint here and keep a breakpoint here also. Now you can see I'm changing it to 78 to 79 and then click on calculate result. See that. Click on calculate result. And right now the result is 234. You can see here. Right now the result is 234. But when I click on here, what happened? You see subject 1 is having 67 and subject 2 is having 79. Now you can see subject 1 is 67. That is okay. But when it comes to subject 2, you can see that subject 2, you can see what happened here. It is giving the data of what type? You can see that. What type of data? You can see that. It is a string type. And subject 3, you can see that is fine. But why we are getting like, but why we are getting that's a different story. Okay, that we will understand. Now you can see the marks will contain 6, 7, 7, 9, 89. Because here like, the subject 2 is getting the data of type string so that it is getting concatenated. Just like, for your understanding, I'm telling you how we can debug it. Now, when I'm calling like, the calculate result, now it is going to get that particular one and then display that result over here. That is how it is going. Understand? That is how Because of that reason only, we will be having that issue. Did you understand how to do the debugging? Tell me. Tell me. Debugging, huh? Okay. Okay, I'll explain you one more time, guys. Right now, this is how it is going to be. When user click on the calculate result, I'm able to see the result. But you see, the moment when I'm changing 67 to 68 and 78 to 79, 89 to 87, 89 to 87 if I'm changing. When user click on here, there you can see we have a different output, right? We have a different output here or not? Tell me. Hello. Am I right? Okay, very good. So we have a different output here. Now what I want to do, I don't want to go with this particular output. Rather what I can do, okay, rather what I can do, I mean, why it is happened? First I'll identify. So that what I can do, I'll right click on here, go to that inspect, see that, go to that inspect. There we have the sources. Okay, there we have the sources. Now on which file this problem we are facing? Tell me. Which file we are facing the problem? We are facing that issue in this particular file only, right? Component file only, right? When user click on, let's say the calculate button, there we are having this function is getting executed. And there only like, we have the calculation and there we have the problem. So how we can do that one? So that first we'll open it. So how I can do that? Control P. You can see there. Control plus P to open the file. And what is the file name you can give? Student result component.ts and just give the breakpoint. Just click on here. Just click on here. You can give the click. Just you can click on here. Once if you can give a breakpoint here, generally these are what we call it as a breakpoint. Now you modify the value. Let's say I'm modifying to 70, 80 and 90 and I click on result. Now you can see the execution is going to be passed over here. The execution is passed. Now check what values we are having. You see that subject 1, 70. Here we have the double quotation. If you can replace with string, then it will come definitely. Okay, just this is an example to understand the debugging also. Now you can see we have an 80 and here we have 90 that we are having. Now, but everything you can see which is of type string that we are having. That is the reason where you can see the average and everything. You can observe that I'm able to see something like this. Understand? Something like this. Then how do I convert it? How do I convert? Tell me. How do I convert it? Are you going to complete? No, parseInt won't work here. If I'm using, let's say, parseInt, as you tell, this is not going to be work it out. Are you going to complete this? It's a simple thing. Now you can see we have what? Number. And here also we will be using number. This is one option. parseInt won't be work it out. And I'm casting here as going to be of type number. First time you see initially it is number only 67, 78 and you can see the third one we have 89 so that we are able to see an output in a proper way. Okay, we have an output in a proper way. But when I am giving let's say 67 in place of that 69 and 78, 79, 89 to 90. When I go with calculate result, now you can see, again you can see subject 1 is 69, subject 2 is 79, subject 3 is 90, and total marks is going to be 234. Now you can see, this time you see what is that output. What is that output we are having here? What is that output? It is string only. We are converting into what type? We are converting into number type here. I'm converting into the number. Again, you see, I'm able to get the result here. Did you understand? That means to do the typecasting with respect to the type step, we are not using the parse in, rather we are using number. Rather we are using what? Number. Did you understand? Now, if you want to run, you can change any value. Maybe I can say 30, 30, and 30. When I go with calculate result, you see the fail. And when I am giving, let's say 79 and calculate result, it is showing me the pass. Now for you, I hope you understood what is that assignment, right? Did you understand assignment? Nice. Good. Keep it up. Okay. The assignment is going to be what? What is that assignment for today? If user has entered any one subject mark which is less than 35, which is less than 35, then student is failed, right? Right? Yes or no? That is what you're trying to implement. Everything has to be same, but the only thing what you need to do is you can see that when user has given 30, 30, 30 and calculate the result, total marks are 90, average is 30, so result is going to be fail. Okay. But I have a requirement. The requirement is going to be, suppose let's say I am getting 90 marks in one subject. Is that mean am I pass? Tell me. Is that mean am I pass? Because the remaining two subject I am getting 30, 30 only. So that what happen? We have to display that. So how we can do that one? When I calculate the result, it is showing me the pass, but I don't want to do that one. Every subject needs to have 35 above, and average is also should be 35 and above. Then only the result would be pass. Otherwise, the result would be fail. It has to display that one. Manikarthik, that we will be understanding. There is a concept of pipes. There you can do that one. That concept will come to that later. Okay, will come there later. Don't worry. Did you understand what I am doing here? When user enter the student ID and student name and 3 subject marks here, if the subject 1 and subject 2, subject 3, and these 3 are going to be greater than 30, then only it has to be display the result as going to be pass. Otherwise, it has to display the result as going to be fail only. Okay. 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 Now here you can see. Okay. No, we don't have any other way, Uday. We have only this one. Okay. Okay. If you are getting cannot modify, I mean, ng model is not a known property. Hussein, go to that app module.ts file. Okay. And there include forms module. I have already given that example also. Include the forms module. Just include it. Today I have explained only one example, nothing major. Just this is an example to understand you a better way of doing the data binding, because data binding is one of the great thing which is provided by the Angular. Okay. So component, I'm pasting the code, and then template I can use. I'm pasting that code as well. Let me copy and then paste it here. That's it. So what you people will do is, after taking this one, guys, create that. After that, like, what you need to do is go to that app module, just to check the forms module is included or not. If the forms module is presented, then we don't have any issues. The application will run in a perfect way. Understood? Cool. That's it for the day. We will continue tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Okay. Maybe you can create Shashi. Try it. See, any example that you will get in your mind, you can start practicing. Understand? That is how, like, you will be understanding the real time scenarios. If you are having some thought in your mind, why don't you try? You can try. Definitely you will be getting. Okay. That's it. No, Nair. No. Vishnu Nair. String keyword. Yes. Yes, Rehan. See, it's a live server only, right? Live server means what? I am not getting, like, this question you keep on asking me from many days. What is mean by the live server? You're asking. Shubham Kumar. What is mean by live server? Okay, in your thought, like, what is live server means? Okay, chalo then. No questions. If any changes are done in the code, it will automatically, same thing we are doing it, right, Sudhamani? By using Node.js also. That is also live server only, right? Okay, cool then. That's it, guys, for the day. We will continue tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.